limits of my heart. I can't say no. It's ripping me apart.
What's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are doing great today. This video is going to be a quick walkthrough of my song How Beautiful with Chris Muntu. And the song came out about 1 month ago and we just hit 1,000 plays cross-platform. Thank you guys so much for that. And in this video, I'm going to be going through the majority of the tracks in this song, the vocals, the pianos, the leads, the drums, and all the effects, and showing you guys how I was able to record and produce this song. So if you haven't heard the song by now, I'll link it in the description so you can listen to it real quick. Just a heads up, by the way, this version of the song is not mixed and mastered. It's just a rough mix. The mix and master was done separately outside of this project, so it might sound slightly different than the version that you're used to hearing. But anyway, alright, so I'm not going to show you guys, I'm not going to play through the whole song since most of you guys already know what it sounds like, but I'm just going to go through the majority of the elements and kind of just show you guys what's going on and what it all means. I'm going to start off by showing you guys the intro part of the song, which consists of some vocal harmonies, some strings, and some piano. So here we go. So essentially that was the intro of the song. You can hear the strings and the vocals and the piano in there. So now I'm going to solo each individual sound and show you guys how I did that. So first I'm going to show you guys the piano. So that's the basic gist of the piano. Basically what I did was I hooked up my keyboard and I had Chris sit down and I had this plugin here selected. This is Nexus. This plays certain sounds. Let me see if I can play something for you guys just to show you that this is a piano. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that, if my audio recording is set up like that right now. But anyway, so I used this plugin with this piano sound and I had Chris sit down and had him record the chords and the melody, which is basically all these notes. And the cool thing about using the keyboard that I have, which is a MIDI keyboard, I can basically change the notes around and edit all of the chords, and I could basically change everything about it if I wanted to. But that was really good because it controls how hard you hit the keys, and I can control the panning of it and the velocity and all those other things. And then this string section here, I added in myself. I basically just took the main chords and just added them in. And I believe for that I'm also using the same plugin as before. Yes, this is also Nexus. This is just a dark cello preset. And basically I just took the chords or similar chords and just aligned them with the intro piano. And then for this last part, we've got the vocal harmony. So basically what I did for this was I just recorded these vocals and I pitched them up and down. I made one lower, and then it was actually already pretty high, so I only pitched one down lower, and then I made the lower vocal quieter so that they merged together well, and this is what I got. And so I just put that over the piano and the strings, and that's what we got. Oh, and one other thing I forgot to mention, at the beginning of the song when you get that reverse piano swell thing, that's basically this right here. Basically what I did there was I took an audio recording of the piano, of the first chord, of this chord right here, and I reversed it so that it became a swell, and then I put it back in, I unreversed it after it was reversed, and it creates this kind of swell thing that flows really nicely into the beginning of the song. And I really liked the way that sounded, so that's how I made the intro of the song. So now let's get on to the first chorus. Basically, it's pretty similar to the intro, except it's actually got spoken words, and I replaced the string section here for a pad sound, which is this. So that's playing in the background along with this piano here. And then on top of all that, we have the vocals that we recorded. And basically, the way we recorded the vocals is I have a condenser microphone that I hooked up to my audio interface, and I run an XLR cable that's about 50 feet long. I run it all the way into my closet, and I have a nicely sized walk-in closet that really like absorbs the sounds in there very well, so that there's no reverberation or echo. So I just had Chris go in there with the microphone on a microphone stand and had him close the door, so it was like really nice and nicely well contained, and he just sang the vocals. And this is what they sound like.
Once in a generation, a smile like yours appears, and through all the pain and sorrow, you make it disappear. Once in a lifetime, you find a love that is so pure. We are meant to be together, this I know for sure.
And that is the vocals of the first chorus. And now this part right before the drop, I'm not really sure exactly what I would call this. Maybe this is like a pre-drop, or maybe, well, I guess this first part of the song here is the first verse, and then this is the pre-chorus, this next part, and then the drop is technically the chorus. So for this pre-chorus, it's basically just the same piano with a vocal over it.
This I know for sure.
And now that we've gone over that, we can get to the most interesting stuff, which is the chorus, or the drop, as I like to call it. So as you can see, there's quite a few things going on here. We've got some vocals up here and a bunch of other things going on. Essentially, I'll just go through each of these very quickly. So I'm going to start right here, actually. So this is the bass. Most of you guys won't be able to hear this, especially if you're listening on phone speakers and other things like that. But if you're listening with headphones or on large monitors, you should be able to hear this bass. It makes a much bigger difference in context with the whole song. And then we have the piano going in the background, as usual. And then I layered that piano for this section with a piano that's an octave higher, and I also used an entirely different piano. So I'll show you each of those. Some of these might be pretty quiet. And then in this bottom section here, I also added some bells and a guitar kind of strat, plucky kind of sound. So here's the bells. I'll turn those up for you guys. And here's the guitar. And these next elements here are the drums. I'll play all of these together at once. Basically, we've got some hi-hats, we've got some snares. I think I used 2 snares in this. We've got a kick, and there's actually something interesting here. So for this kick pattern, I actually used a reverse kick, and this I will actually show you solo. So this kick right here, hold on, I'll play it for you on its own. I actually took part of the kick and reversed it, which is this part right here, and I used it as kind of like a swell, kind of like the piano at the beginning, so it kind of like flows or like kind of like throws you into the kick. It's not that noticeable, but in context, it does make a huge difference. So here's all of the drums together. I have, in addition to the other elements that I just mentioned, we've got some vinyl noise here. It's just some like white noise crackling, and we've also got a shaker loop. So when you play them all together, all of the drums sound like this. And then down here, we've also got some effects that kind of just sit in the background. And actually, these effects play through multiple sections of the song. And there's actually, right before the drop, we've got this drum fill right here. And so those are all of like the musical elements. And then for the vocals, I basically just took part of Chris singing the main tag of the song, which is how beautiful you are, or you don't know how beautiful you are.
I don't think you know just how beautiful you are.
And then for this other part here, this was actually one of the things that I decided to put into the song that I thought would be really cool. I took a different recording of the song that we didn't actually end up using and used it as kind of like a chorus effect, and I pitched it up and down a couple times and merged them together to get this.
Just how beautiful you are.
And so when you play that, it's actually one of my favorite parts of the whole song. So I'll show you guys like the first couple seconds of the drop.
I don't think you know just how beautiful you are. Just how beautiful you are.
And so yeah, I really like the way that ended up turning out. And then in the second part of the drop here, this is where kind of like everything just comes in. All the elements all at once, all the pianos, everything I mentioned before just come in at like full force. And then for this chorus part here, it's technically just the same as the first, or I'm sorry, this is the second verse. It's basically the same as the first verse. It's just the different vocals and with the same underlying piano and the same pad sounds with the same strings. And the second drop, or the second chorus, is also the same as the first. Just added some extra shakers down here and some extra white noise. And then there's actually a second drop in the second drop itself, so there's technically two drops for the second drop, and this is basically where there's no vocals and it's just all of the piano melodies playing out. And I really liked that. That was something I decided to add in because I thought that it really added like more of a memorable aspect to it, so that you could kind of remember the chords and the melody to it rather than having to listen to the main tag of the song over and over again. And then the very last part of the song was the outro, or I guess you could call it almost a bridge, but it's like an outro bridge at the same time. Basically what we did was we had these harmonies recorded. And I did what I normally do with the rest of my vocals. I kept one of the original pitch, and then I took another and pitched it down. So I'll turn this one up so you guys can actually hear what it's layered with. So I layered those two together, and that's how you get that really nice full sound. And then I layered those vocals with these strings here. And then on top of that, I made an outro piano section. And at the end, we kind of just topped it all off with this nice little ad lib here that kind of just adds to the rest of the vocals.
You don't know.
And so that put a really nice ending to the song. And let's see down here. There's no other effects. There's some effects at the second part of the second drop, but other than that, this kind of just is the outro of the song, and it kind of just lets it flow out. And actually, there's one other thing I forgot to mention. So all of these sounds here that you guys see, this is not the only aspect of the song. There's actually a whole other aspect that I forgot to mention, which is the mixer channel. So I'm going to bring that into the recording right now. So this is the mixer channel, and this consists of all of the sounds routed into mixer channels that control the volume, the panning, the stereo width, and a bunch of other things. And on each of these things over here, if you look on the right, I can put equalizers and compressors and other things like that. Let me see if I can pull some of those up. So this is an equalizer, this is a compressor, and this is just on the main vocal. Or no, actually, this is the master channel. So I do have some things on here, and on a bunch of other channels. Actually, every channel has at least something on it. And as you can see, there's a lot of channels used here, and my microphone is running through the 48th channel. But anyway, every sound is routed through one of these channels, and then it's routed through this master bus here. And basically, like I said before, the use of this is to just help blend the sounds together better. So that's going to do it for this video. If you liked this walkthrough, give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Niall Blaine, and I will see you guys next time.